Alright then guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to run through a load of gift options for either if you are a car person needing to give gift ideas or you are looking to buy some gifts for someone that is into cars. Now as you can see, I like my Hondas, so some of these are slightly related to Honda, but I'm hoping this list can be a catalyst of which to build upon based on what car you're into or the person that you're buying for is into. And of course, like with all my videos, the links to everything I list in this video will be in the description down below, so go check them out there as well. So without further ado, let's jump into the list, and I'm starting off with a bit of a bang, to be honest, because me as a fan of cars think this is super cool. So I've actually got a scale model of the cars that I own. This is a 1/64th scale, and this one is actually made by Para 64. As you can see, it's got some plaque writing on it as well. It does slide out of this little case. This is the same grey as the car that I have. I can just store this wherever I want on my desk, on display on a shelf or something, and have the actual car that I own on the driveway in model form. I've got this one for this car. I then have this one for my S2000, and this is one kitted with the Mugen kit, but does come in the right blue. So that's the other thing I've tried to match, is the right colours for the car that I own. And this one, as you can see, is made by Mini GT. And I also have it for the track car that I don't have at this house, but what's really cool about these as well is, as you can see here, Honda officially licensed product. So these are legit. They do so many different ones that you've got multiple different options for different vehicles, especially if you have a more popular car. I did get this first one as a gift, and that just made me want the other ones, and I was too impatient to wait for another time to get them as a gift. So because of my impatience, I ended up buying this one and the red EP3 from a company called Big Boy Studio. So I'll leave a link to these down below and go check them out. But there are so many different companies selling these that you have plenty of options when looking. As something that kind of relates to the model cars as well, is you could buy some build your own kits as well. These are a bigger scale model, but those could work out as something if the person you're buying it for is pretty creative or artistic, because there are so many different options out there. So I'll leave a link for some of those down below as well. And next up is some things for the engine bay or just general dress up pieces. So as you can see in this engine bay, I've got quite a lot of red going on. So any of the options that you see in red here are pretty cheap. I can really set off an engine bay, and as they're not too expensive, they can be a perfect gift. So we've got this Spoon Sports radiator cap. We've got some beauty washer fixings. I've got various different ones of these around the engine bay. You could do a battery tie down. These are available for so many different cars. Moving over to the engine itself, you could do a different oil cap. You could also do some beauty washers on the rocker cover. Other things can include something like these socks. These are pretty filthy now, but reservoir socks to stop any leaking. Kind of look like wristbands, but it's again another cheap one. And I did actually get this one as a gift. So I'll leave a link to as many of those down below as I can find, but obviously it's more specific based on which car you're buying them for. Hopefully this just gives you an idea of something you could even suggest to whoever you're buying for, whether this is something they'd want. But speaking from experience, I know that getting little things like the reservoir sock is a great little gift to get that just fits with the car. And when it comes to things like the radiator cap, there are various different companies that make them. So for example, if you're looking for things for a Japanese related car like this from Spoon, if it's a Honda related, Mugen make one for Hondas as well. But you've also got companies like HKS, you've got Jay's Racing, and you've got Buddy Club, just to name a few different options. And whilst we're in the engine bay, something that is super cool and really useful if you have a Honda is an oil filler funnel. It's something that if you need in a pinch is kind of annoying if you're cutting up a bottle or something, and Honda sell their very own one, so it comes in its own box, so once you have used it, it should contain all the mess. And then inside you get the funnel itself, which just lifts out, so that's then a separate piece, and this thing then pops out to become a funnel that you then can fill your car up with oil. And especially as a Honda owner, it's super cool to have with the Honda branding itself. So I'll leave a link for this down below, and I can only assume that there are other brands that make them out there as well. Another small and simple one is this HKS Tone collaboration little keyring. There's actually a 10mm ratchet spanner, as you can hear. Just a super cool piece that you can have dangling from your keys that may even come in useful at some point. Plus it also says HKS on it, which is super rad. I use this as my main keyring to be able to switch between car keys based on which car I'm driving. So super simple piece, and it's really nicely built actually. It's full metal and everything, and this is probably one of my favorite bits on the list. And here it is up close, and as you can see, it's got the HKS branding there, and if you flip it over on the other side, it's got Tone, that are the company that actually made it. You basically flip it over depending on if you're tightening or loosening something, and it's also got got a nice robust semi-carabiner style clip on the end as well. So next up, we've got a few interior bits. Some of these are more specific to this car, but some should be pretty universal. So first off, you could do a gear knob. There are so many different options out there for gear knobs for cars, and if you're buying one for someone who is into driving, they're probably going to want a weighted shift knob. And a cool little addition is if you end up buying one from Acuity, you can also order a gear knob charm. Just a cool little piece that they have loads of different variations of. It's just a funny little thing you can add in the interior. So if the person you're buying this for hasn't already got a weighted shift knob, I would highly recommend they get one, even if it's not you buying one. So that's definitely a good one for a future edition. Another option that is a really cheap one is you could buy a pack of assorted air fresheners for the car that have got various different designs. Whether it's a joke, whether it relates to the brand of the car that you're buying it for. So there are various companies out there where you can order different amounts of different air fresheners. Another popular modification that people make if they're into Japanese cars is they do a wide view rear view mirror. And that can take its form in various different ways, where it can be a Broadway one, it can be just a piece you clip over, or in my case, it could be a piece from Spoon Sports, which sticks into the original rear view mirror holder and just gives a wide view. So I'll link a few of these down below because there are quite a few that are universal for loads of different cars. Now for a couple that are a bit more specific to this car itself, and that is you could buy the rubber piece that fits in this gap for this car. I still don't have one. Finding a genuine one is a challenge, so that would be super cool. I know that Tegawa do make a reproduction one, so I'll leave that link down below. And the other piece is a cool little JDM coin holder that fits in the blanking plate that is on this side of the steering wheel. It's pretty pointless, but it's cool that it comes from Japan, and that's also another super cheap piece. If the person you're buying stuff for has an EP3, that could be a cool addition too. And now I've got some things that I actually wish I owned, which I guess I can look back at my own list and request. These are some cool little Japanese pieces that are pretty generic. So the first of these things is going to be some stuff from HKS, and that is either an oil slick floor mat, which is such a cool thing. That is a rad piece, quite expensive, but if you're wanting something cool that is more general use, then Mugen and HKS sell an umbrella that again is pretty cool, and I'll leave a link for those down below as well. Another option which I haven't seen too much, I'm going to potentially buy to have up on the wall, is you can get like these wireframe outlines of various different cars. So I know that it exists for the S2000 and for the Civic, so I'm probably going to end up getting those at some point, and those just hang on the wall as just like a cool piece of wall art. And the amount of different cars that are available with that design is crazy, and I assume there'll be someone out there that can make them custom as well. That is my complete list of gifts that you can buy either for yourself or for someone that is into cars. Now obviously this is a list that is more Japanese car related, and also hopefully just a jumping point of which you can go from, but there's a lot of things on this list that I definitely want if I don't already own it. So if the person that you're buying for is into Japanese cars or into Hondas, then they'll probably want this stuff too. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Leave a comment down below if you found this useful, if you've actually got any of this stuff, or you are now wanting this stuff because of this video. Like this one, subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.